Hello and welcome to Scholarph Edu, where we provide relatively detailed answers and explanations to the UTME question. And in this recording, we're looking at the UTME questions for biology for the year 2017. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Scholarph Edu, like and share our content, and also leave a comment in the comment box below. You can also visit our website at scholarph.com to practice UTME exam for free. We have UTME exams, and we also have other exams like post-UTME, and we have modular quizzes as well. Alright, so let's get started. Question number 1. The piercing and sucking mouth parts are found in. The correct option is mosquitoes, as option B. So the mosquito has the piercing mouth part that is used to pierce into the skin, and that's what it's used in biting, and it has sucking mouth part. Next question is on the hormonal system. The hormones that regulate plant growth are option B, auxin and gibberellin. So they contribute largely to growth in plants. Next question is on ecology and living organism. Which of the following pair of organisms exhibit parasitic association? So a parasitic association is a type of association between two or more organisms in which one of the organisms is armed. Now, if you look at the relationship between the tsetse fly and the cattle, it is parasitic in the sense that the tsetse fly is the carrier or the vector of the organism that is called the trypanosoma. Now, the trypanosoma is the causative organism of trypanosomiasis, otherwise known as sleeping sickness. Okay, so in this relation between the tsetse fly and the cattle suffers there, right? The cattle is armed. But if you look at the relation between, let's say, the cattle and the egret, for example. So the egret, what it does is it picks insects on the cattle. In this relationship, the egret is benefiting in that it is getting food from the body, like the body of the cattle, but the cattle is not armed, significantly here. Or that kind of relationship, we call it commensalism. In that one organism is benefiting while the other organism is not armed. Also, is the relation between shark and the remora fish. So what the remora fish does is that it feeds on the leftovers of the shark. So the remnant of the food that the shark eats is what the remora fish eats. Now, in this relationship, the remora fish is benefiting, from staying close to the shark, okay, and eating on and feeding on its leftover, while the shark here is not armed, neither is it benefited. And in the relation between the insect and the plant, the insect benefits basically, and the plant is not significantly armed. So the parasitic association here is the tsetse fly. Next question is on adaptation. Which of the following group of organisms can withstand the rigor of the arid land? The arid land means a dry land, like a desert. Option A is the correct option. The locust, the camel, the lizard, and snakes, they have certain adaptative features or structure, like the way their body be kind of stuff or material that their body is made of, or the kind of activity that they do, which allows them to survive under the harsh condition of the arid land. Next is on movement and support system. Suture joint is found in the correct option is skull. So the suture, they are the immovable joints that are found in the head, okay, in the skull, the bone of the head. So if you look at the skeleton of a human, for example, you see some cracks there. Those cracks are joints, okay, where bones have been fused, and those joints are immovable. Next question is on homeostasis. The organelle responsible for osmoregulation in paramecium is the contractile vacuole. Okay, so osmoregulation is the regulation of or the maintenance of a steady internal environment in organism, or you can think of it as the maintenance or the balance of the fluid or ions, okay, that is certain chemicals or substances in the body of an organism. And the organelle, the cell organelle that performs this function in the paramecium is the contractile vacuole. It regulates the level of water and ions and some ions in the body of. Next question is also on homeostasis and the body systems, the excretory system. So we have some diagrams here. We are to use the diagram to answer the question. The excretory organ of an earthworm is represented by The structure I is the flame cell, the II is the kidney, III is the nephridium, and the nephridium is the excretory organ in the earthworm. So the earthworm excretes using the nephridium. Next question is on circulatory system. The platelets, okay, in mammalian blood are responsible for clotting. So the platelet helps with the clotting of the blood in the event of an injury. Next is on ecology. The most important factor that determines the different types of vegetation is the amount or the level of rainfall determines the pattern or the type of vegetation in a given habitat. So regions that have high amount of rainfall will have more of hydrophyte or mesophyte, while those that have moderate or low rainfall would have more of xerophytes. Next is on nutrition and digestive system. When testing for the presence of starch in a leaf, the reason for dipping the decolorized leaf in hot water is to so the decolorized water leaf is dipped in hot water to soften the leaf. It is to soften the leaf so that would allow for the potassium iodide or the iodine that is added to the leaf that will allow it to penetrate. Okay, so it makes the leaf more. Next question is on nutrition. The relationship between remora and shark can be described as. So we mentioned something related to this in the previous in the explanation that was on the cattle and the fly. The correct answer here is commensalism. Okay, so let's go over the option. Parasitism is a type of relationship between two or more organisms in which one of the organism is benefiting while the other is harmed. For example, the relation between the fly and the cattle. So in that relationship, the fly is feeding on the blood of the cattle, right? It is benefiting from the cattle. However, the cattle here is harmed. Okay, so that's parasitic. Mutualism is a feeding relationship between two organisms in which both of the organisms are benefiting, like the relationship between the algae and the fungi in the lichen. Okay, the relation between the algae and the fungi in the lichen, both the algae and the fungi, they benefit from that relationship. So that is mutualism or symbiosis or symbiotic. Commensalism is a feeding relationship in which one of the organisms benefits while the other does not benefit. Now in the relation between the remora and the sharkfish, so what happens is that the remora, it feeds on the leftover of the shark, okay, while the shark here doesn't get any benefit. So that's commensalism. Okay, the shark is not benefited, neither is it harmed, while the remora fish benefit. Next question is on ecology. The major characteristic of a freshwater habitat is the possession of freshwater habitat. They have low salinity. Salinity means the level of salt. So in a freshwater, the level of salt is very low. Significantly, it is almost insignificant in a freshwater habitat, unlike what you have in the marine. We have a website at Scholarph.com where you could practice exams for free, the UTME exam and the post-UTME exam. It also features modular quizzes in physics, chemistry and biology. So if you've studied a topic in any of the subjects and you want to test your understanding of the topic, you can head on to our website at Scholarph.com and take modular quizzes for free. Also, if you sign up on the website, it has a personalized dashboard where you could use to check your progress in learning. We also have interactive sessions on the website and on our social media platform. Freebies are also available to top performance on the website. Next question on microorganism. The causative organism of cholera is Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi. That is the causative organism of cholera. Next question is on nutrition. The process that takes place in the dark stage of photosynthesis is. The correct option is the reduction of carbon dioxide. So the reduction of carbon dioxide occurs during the dark stage of photosynthesis. Next question. Chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs are air pollutants that originate from. So CFCs, or what we call freons, they are produced by cooling system. okay, cooling system from devices like air conditioner, refrigerator, etc. These substances they cause the depletion of the ozone layer. Next is on living organism. Which of the following is organ level of organization, that is at the organ level of organization? That's the onion bulb. So the organ is a combination of functionally related tissues. So you have tissues that perform similar function together, combined together. Then we have an organ, and that is what you have in the onion bulb. The volvox is more like a tissue with just a mass of cell. Okay, the paramecium is just a cell, while the hydra is a tissue. The onion bulb is an organ. It is a storage organ. Next, on reproduction, the simplest form of reproduction is the binary fission or cell division, or which occurs by mitosis, is the simplest form of reproduction, in which a parent cell is going to split into two daughter cells that are genetically the same. Next is also on reproduction and adaptation. Which of the following is a characteristic of wind pollinated flower? That is that those flowers, they lack nectars. Okay, they lack nectars. So nectars are, you find them in insect pollinated flower. So the nectar, what it does is, it is that attractive part of the plant that draws the attention of insects. Okay, but for wind pollinated flowers, they lack nectars. They do not have nectars. What they have is, they have light pollen grains and long protruding stamen. They have sticky feathery stigma and conspicuous reproductive organs. And the reason why they have these structures is so that it is easy for the wind to to convey, to kind of shake off pollen grains and convey them to the stigma of the female flower. Next, we have a diagram here. The question is, we have some diagrams here, and we have to use it to answer the question. The most eminent unit in terms of water conservation is the kidney. That's the kidney. It helps in the conservation of water. It functions in the production of urine, okay, in humans, and in some other animals, of course.
Next question is on reproduction. The process required for formation of gametes, that is the reproductive cell in sexual reproduction, is, so the gametes or the reproductive cells, they are haploid cells, and haploid cells are produced by meiosis, while diploid cells are produced by mitosis. Okay, so the production of, or the formation of gametes, we also call it gametogenesis, is by meiosis. Okay, gametogenesis is by meiosis, which results in the production of haploid cells.
Next question is a question on ecology requiring some calculation. In an experiment to determine the humus in a soil sample, the following results were obtained. Mass of dish is 20 gram, mass of dry soil 27.5 gram, mass of dish plus soil after burning is 25 gram. So we have to calculate the percentage of humus in the given sample, that is the sample of the soil. Alright, so here the percentage of the humus is going to be equal to the mass of the humus in the soil divided by the mass of the soil times 100%. So here we need to find the mass of the humus. Okay, already we've given the mass of the dry soil as 7.5 grams, so we have that already. But how do we find the mass of the humus? So first, the mass of the dish is 20 gram, while the mass of the dry soil is 7.5 gram. So if you fill the soil, okay, if you fill the dish with that soil, if you put that soil in the dish, the mass of the dish plus that soil is now going to be 20. That's the mass of the dish plus 7.5, the mass of the soil, and that will be 27.5, right? Now, after burning the soil, okay, after burning the soil or eating it, the humus in it is going to be roasted. Okay, it will be roasted. So we have only like the dry soil. Now the mass of the new mass of the dish and the soil after roasting the humus, after burning the humus, is now 25 gram. So how do you calculate the mass of the humus? It becomes the mass of the dish plus the soil before roasting, which is 27.5, minus the mass of the dish and the soil after roasting or burning, which is 25. So 27.5 minus 25, that is 22.5. Yeah. So the percentage of the humus then is the mass. Okay, that would be the mass of the humus, which we calculated to be 2.5. Yeah, divided by the mass of the soil, which we've been given here as 7.5. Then multiply this by 100. So this will be 1/3 times 100, and that is 33.3. So the correct option is option D. Next question is on living organism and ecology. The presence of termites and earthworms in soil promotes. So it promotes porosity and aeration. Porosity meaning the termites, for example, it bores holes into the soil, same as the earthworms as well. So that gives them for what we call aeration as well, and that is the penetration, okay, or the allowance of air into the soil. Next question on ecology. In a 15-meter square habitat, the total number of tree ducts counted using a 1.6 meter square quadrant shown randomly 50 times was 400. So we have to calculate the amount, okay, of the tree ducts, right? So this can be obtained by dividing, okay, the number of the tree ducts, which is 400, by 15, by the area of the habitat, and that would be 8. So 400 divided by 15, that is 8. Option C. Next question on genetics and variation. Which of the following is a sex-linked character? Color blindness. Color blindness is a sex-linked character. Other examples include night blindness, hemophilia, okay, muscular dystrophy, Fragile X syndrome, and high blood pressure. Next question. The outermost tissue of the herbaceous roots is the epidermis. The epidermis is the outermost the herbaceous roots. Next, on movement and support system. The respective tissues that transport water and manufactured food in plants are. So the xylem transports water, while the phloem transports photosynthate or the manufactured food from photosynthesis. So we have xylem and phloem. Now in questions like this, you need to note the order. Okay, so in the question we have transport water, then manufacture food. So you have to mention the tissue that transports water first, and then the one that manufactures that carries or transports manufactured food. So it should be xylem first. That is, xylem is the conductive tissue that carries water, and the phloem is the one that carries manufactured food or photosynthesis. Not phloem and xylem. That is changing the order. Okay, so it should be xylem and phloem. If you say phloem and xylem, that means you are saying phloem carries water and xylem carries photosynthesis, which would be wrong. So it's next question on adaptation. An adaptive feature of plants in the savanna, okay, grassland, is they have featured bark. Okay, plants in the savanna, they have thick featured barks. They also have trunk for water. Another question on adaptation. The grasshopper's cortical becomes green during the season and black after fire. The reasons for the change is, that's option D, to escape predator. So if the grasshopper is, during when it's green, that's when the season is, like during the wet season or the rainy season, where we have green leaves blossoming and all of that. So the grasshopper in the middle of those leaves is not easy to detect, right? It is not easy to detect. Everywhere it's more like green. Okay, but in the dry season, right, or maybe during fire, for example, let's say there's a wildfire incident, so you see that the color of the leaves changes, becomes like brown, some like black. So the grasshopper again changes the color of its cortical, right, to blend into the environment, to escape predation detection, so that it is not easily detected by. You can also join our online tutorial classes for different classes. We have tutorials for students in SS1, 2, or 3. We also have for UTME candidates, for JAMB candidates, for students who want to write the JAMB or the UTME exam, and for those ones who have the post UTM exam after the UTM exam, and also for candidates that are sitting for WAEC exam or GCE or NECO. And we offer this tutorial on various platforms, so you could join us on WhatsApp or on Telegram, you could be on Zoom or on Google Classroom. So we have various platforms where we take our tutorial. The links to join the platform are available on our website at scholarph.com, or you could also check it out in the video description below. Next question: which of the following is the most advanced plant? That is the Spirogyra. The Spirogyra is the most advanced of the plants from the option. Next is on ecology. The soil type that has the least ability to retain nutrients is, that's the sandy soil. The sandy soil has the least ability to retain water and nutrients, okay, because of its porosity. Next, on adaptation, a human bird is able to feed on nectars because its beak is, so basically the kinds of beaks that bird have is indicative, or is very much related to the nature of what they feed on. So for example, birds that feed on nectars, they usually have long beak, slender beak, and in some the beak may be slightly curved, but more importantly the beaks are usually long so that they can reach to the nectar, and then it's slender as well, like thin. But birds, for example, that are carnivorous, that eat prey and all of their own prey, for example like the eagle, they have hooked beak. So that hooked beak is basically for holding the prey and for tearing the prey. Those that are herbivorous, those that feed on seeds, they usually have beaks that are very thick and blunt. They are usually blunt and thick. And why? Is so that they can use those beaks to crush the seed. So here we have a diagram. The part labeled II is the gill filament. The gill filament. Okay, and what its function in is in the transfer of ions, and also its functions in the intake of oxygen as well. Next question is on ecology. The effect of overcrowding is, so overcrowding is a situation where you have many organisms living in a given area of an habitat. That will result in immigration. Okay, so where you have too many organisms in an habitat, some of them will tend to move out of that habitat. That is, they would migrate. Next, on movement and support system, the vertebrae that allows the skull to nod and rotate are, that is the atlas and the axis. The atlas and the axis. So the atlasal joints, that is the joints of the atlas and the axis, okay, in the neck, it allows for the nodding of the head and the rotation of the head from one side. Next question on genetics and variation. The component of the cell that determines paternity resides in the nucleus, okay, and that is the DNA, okay, the DNA, which is born, okay, by the gene. It is carried by the gene that are born on the chromosome. So here you have a diagram of some pets. Question is, which of the following beak type is an adaptation for aquatic feeding? That is, which of these pets would most likely feed on aquatic organism? And we've talked previously about beaks in one of the previous questions. The correct option will be option B. Option B. Okay. If you look at option B, the bird there has long, slender, beak, and what that does is that it helps it to dig into the water. It helps it for what we call scooping, that is digging into the water and getting the organism, which could be the fish, usually the fish, or some other aquatic organism. But the A option, that A there, if you look at the bird in A, it has blunt beak. The beak is short and blunt. That kind of a bird would most likely be feeding on seeds. So that beak, that blunt and thick beak, is used for crushing seed. Option C has a long, thin, and slightly curved beak, and what that bird would most likely feed on nectars of flower. So that long beak will allow it to reach into the nectars of the flower. While option D, the bird there has a short and a hooked beak. If you look at the mouth, like the tip of that beak, it is hooked. Such a bird would most likely be carnivorous, that it would feed on animals. That beak that it has, that hooked beak that it has, to be for holding and sharing prey. Okay, don't forget to check out our playlist. We have different playlists. We have for full solutions to UTME or JAMB questions and in physics, chemistry, and biology. We also have for modular quizzes as well. Okay, we'll also have a playlist for post UTME or post JAMB exam, and also for crash courses in physics, chemistry, and biology. So don't forget to check out our playlist for the available videos.
Next question. The part labeled II is the. So what we have there is the diagram of the gill of a fish. The part labeled I is the gill arc. The II is the gill waka or the gill waka, while III is the gill filament. So the required parts, the labeled parts here that we have to identify is the part labeled II, and that is the gill waka, option D. Next, on nutrition. The insect trap in by leaves of Venus flytrap is an example of a behavioral adaptation. So the fly trap itself, that trap itself, is a structural adaptation, while the closing of the leaf to trap the insect is behavioral adaptation. And behavioral adaptation are for. Next question on genetics and variation. Morphological variation in humans include. So morphological variations means variation in the physical appearance of the organism, and this we have to do with things like weight, fingerprints, and body shape. So morphological variation in humans include weight, okay, fingerprints, and body shape. So these are physical differences in people. But things like blood group, it's not a morphological, it's a genetic variation. Next, on genetics. Which of the following is correct about blood transfusion? So the blood group O is regarded as a universal donor, which means that a person with the blood group O can donate to any other blood group. Okay, the blood group AB is a universal recipient, and that means that he can accept blood from any other group, from group A, group B, group AB, or group O. Okay, so from the option that we have, the correct option here will be D, that group O, that is a universal donor, can donate to group A, to B, and AB, but they cannot receive from other groups besides O. Okay, they can only receive from blood group O. Alright, so that's it for this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like and share our content. Thank you very much for watching. Also, you can check out our playlists. So we have a playlist for UTME, we have playlists for modular quizzes, we have playlists too for crash courses in physics, chemistry, and biology. And you can also join our online tutorial on WhatsApp. All the best to your examination. Don't forget to also visit our website at scholarph.com or exams.scholarph.com to practice UTME and modular quizzes for free. If you have any question, you can drop it in the comment box. If you have any contribution, correction, you're welcome to share that in the comment section below or in the comment section of our website. Thank you very much.